Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanat Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So we're continuing our study of chapter 7 Bhagavad-Gita. Krishna shifts his focus of discussion from the self to the super self or the super soul, from the Atman to the Paramatman. Understand? Atman and so the Paramatman means the superior Atman or the supreme Atman. It refers to the feature of God that is immanent in the world. Sometimes in philosophical language, they use this distinction between God as immanent and God as transcendence. You've heard this language, philosophical language before. So immanent means present in the world, present in the souls and in the world. And transcendent means in his own world. So the feature of Bhagavan or God that is present in the world is called Paramatman. And the feature of God that is in his own world, the spiritual world, is called Bhagavan. Generally, that language is used like that. So we're hearing about Paramatman. So what we've heard so far is that he's the source of two potencies or energies, right? The inferior energy and the superior energy. You remember this? The inferior energy is?
One starts with P and one starts with A.
Okay, but what is it? That's fine. Also, apara pakriti was inferior and para pakriti was a superior. So what is the apara pakriti? Thank you. I just said that. The inferior means what? You remember? Yes, the inferior energy means this world of matter, right? It is called inferior because it is unconscious. And the superior energy is the soul, and it's superior because it's conscious. You understand? So the inferior energy is also called Maya Shakti, and the superior energy is also called Jiva Shakti. Shakti means energy, and Krishna's or Paramatman is called as the Shaktiman, the source of the Shaktis. So there's Shakti and Shaktiman. So in Vedanta, this is the only thing that exists, the energetic source and then the energies. And there's nothing outside of these categories. So there's Shakti and Shaktiman. You understand? So in discussion of Shakti, Krishna says there are two types of Shakti, Jiva Shakti and Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti is inferior because it is unconscious. Jiva Shakti is superior because it is conscious and is trying to employ the Maya Shakti for its own purposes, usually for enjoyment and for the purpose of liberation. You understand? So then he says, everything we experience in this world, this is verse 6, is a combination of these two Shaktis. So whatever you see in this world is a combination of these two Shaktis only. What two Shaktis? Bolo. What two Shaktis? Maya Shakti and Jiva Shakti, right? Everything you see is only a combination of these two energies. And he says, I am the source of these energies, the creator and the destroyer as well. Creation and destruction should not be taken in the sense that we would normally take it, having grown up in the Western world. When you use the word creation, it means from nothing you bring something into existence. But these energies, like God, are eternal. So when Krishna says, I'm the creator or destroyer of them, it doesn't mean in the sense that I bring them into existence and I bring them out of existence. It means rather, and I used this language in our last class, the unfolding of the energy and the enfolding. So from Paramatma, energy comes out, and into Paramatma, the energy returns, like unfolding and enfolding of the energy. Otherwise, these energies are eternal. Just like the sun and the sun ray. Which one came first, sun or sun ray? You tell, answer. What's come first, sun or sun ray?
Sun.
What do you say?
They're both eternal.
Yes. But one of them depends on the other, right? So they're co-eternal, You co-eternal in the sense that you don't have a sun without sun ray. It's not that there was a sun and then at a later point, zzz, and the sun ray came out. They're co-eternal, but the sun ray is depending on the sun. It is the energy of the sun, and its existence is supported by the sun. So then there's Shakti and Shaktiman. So what is Shaktiman? Shaktiman is?
Where the source comes from.
Yeah, so source is coming. So it's like the sun, and Shakti is like the sun ray. So they're co-eternal, but the Shakti is dependent on the Shaktiman, right? So these energies, Krishna says, I am the creator and destroyer of them, but not in the sense that we normally think of in the West. Creation just means the unfolding of the energy, and destruction means the enfolding of the energy. So these energies are not different from me because they are an effect that comes from me, right? Just as the different limbs of your body, they are, I gave this example, I think, they are you and not you at the same time, right? Just like if I slap you, I'd not do that. But if you're spacing out, maybe, previously when there was a guru and he would have his students used to sit very close. Now the students sit very far to avoid chastisement. But usually the students used to sit very close. I've seen some gurus when the student will sleep, the guru will actually give chastisement. So if I slap you, technically I didn't hit you, my hand hit you. Or let's suppose I'm holding one stick and I hit you with the stick. So I guess technically I didn't hit you, the stick hit you. But without its support in me, who's holding the stick, then it could not have such force. So the energy is simultaneously God and not God. The sun ray is simultaneously the sun and not the sun. Right? When you're feeling on a hot day, the sun is on you, you say that the sun is hot. But that is not precise. If you want to be like really precise, then you have to say the sun ray is hot. If it was a full force of the sun, we'll be finished. So it is simultaneously the sun and not the sun. So the energy is simultaneously God and not God. So he has some identity with it because it is the effect of himself. And there's some difference also, right? We described that specifically with the external energy. The external energy is compared to a reflection of the sun into darkness, right? So the reflection of light is way over there and the sun is over here. You remember that? We discussed this. So because the reflection of light depends on the light, it is simultaneously really, in one sense, the sun. At the same time, it's external to the sun, and it doesn't exist inside the sun. And you see the reflection when you're not looking at the sun. So it is also different from the sun. It exists external to the sun. You understand? You understand? Okay. So the energy is, Krishna has some identity with the energies. At the same time, he's different from the energies. So in verse 7, he says he enters inside this energy also. Mataha parantaram naya kinchin asti dhananjaya. So he says, first of all, you should know that there is no truth superior to me. Because everything is me. Because everything that you know in this world is a combination of these two Shaktis. What two Shaktis? Below. What two Shaktis? And Jiva Shakti. So everything you know is a combination of these two Shaktis, right? And those Shaktis are essentially me. They're my energy and they're essentially me. So everything you know is just me, essentially. So there is no truth superior to me. There isn't like a third category. There isn't Shakti mind, Shakti, and then like something that exists over here in its separate category. No. This is the only thing that exists, Shakti and Shakti mind. So there is no truth superior to me. And then he says, this is verse 7. This is just a recap. Mai sarvamidam protam sutre maningana iva. So he says, then I enter inside this world. So the world is the external energy, right? The reflection of light into darkness. So here's the light. Here's the reflection light. So here in verse 7, he says, I'm entering inside the world in order to maintain it. Just as the pearl necklace is maintained by the thread, so I enter into the world also as the Paramatman in order to maintain the world. You understand? This energy is my effect, and I enter inside my effect in order to maintain it. Just as the pearl necklace is maintained by the thread underneath it. You see the necklace, but you don't see the string underneath. So similarly, we see this world, but we don't see the Paramatma underneath it. We see the body, for example, but we don't see the soul inside, right? So when people, sometimes people come up to you and say, well, maybe you've had this experience. I love you. The big joke in this material world is love gang. So I love you. Then if you really speaking from Bhagavad-Gita's perspective, you say, you don't even know me. You don't even see me because the soul is different from this body. So usually the target of love in this world is the material body. It is not the soul. Of course, sometimes they would say your soul is so beautiful, but they're talking about body, right? Just like if you go to the beach, you're like, there's some beautiful souls here. They ain't talking about the soul inside. They're talking about material bodies, isn't it? Even before we were into Vedanta and spirituality, we said, that's such a beautiful soul. But we're not talking about soul, usually we're talking about bodies. So just as we don't see the soul that gives life to this body, similarly, we don't see the soul that gives life to this world. So the soul that gives life to this world is called as Paramatma. He's also called as the Vishwa Atma, the soul of the universe. Just as an individual, Jiva Shakti is the soul of this body, this kind of individual universe. So Paramatma is the soul of this whole world. It is he who gives life to the whole world. Soon as his presence is removed, then the whole world collapses on itself. Just in the same way, when the soul is removed from the body, then the body begins to deteriorate. You understand? So I enter into this world to maintain it. There's no truth superior to me. I enter into this world to maintain it. And so next section, verse 8 through 13. That's the passage we'll take today. So just as I'm having identity with this world, and I am the cause of this world and the souls in it are my effect. So similarly, in this next passage, verse 8 through 13, all the things that we see in this world and we are preoccupied with, I'm also the cause of those things and the essence of those things. So he's going to give several examples here. This is a section where Krishna talks about his vibhutis. And we'll see this again in chapter 9, verses 16 through 19. And we'll see it again in chapter 10 extensively. The vibhuti means like an extension of the power of God. One time when Prabhupada was on a morning walk with his disciples, maybe the sun was rising. They said, this is very beautiful sunrise. And Prabhupada said, if you think this is very beautiful, then wait until you meet the artist. All right. So when you see an artist who does work, it's like an expansion of his glory or his work. Like we see these paintings are very beautiful. And these paintings are an extension of the artwork of the artist. So this artist, the vibhuti of the artist, it is an extension or expansion of his glory. So in the same way, all the things that we are preoccupied with in this world, they're vibhutis of the Lord, or extensions of his own glory or power. So just as he's the cause of the world itself, he's also the cause of every little thing in the world also that we're preoccupied with. So he would give some examples. You understand? Just like you like water, right? So Krishna says, Rasoham apsukham teya. I am the taste in water. Because taste is said to be the cause of water. We described this briefly in our last class. And the description of the unfolding of the universe, it goes from subtle to gross. So from sound comes ether, and then from ether comes touch, and then air, and then form, fire. That's why I wanted to do a little drawing today, because anyway, Sankhya is like this. It comes from subtle to gross. So the subtle object of water is said to be taste. And then from taste, water is unfolding. So again, remember, everything is unfolding from subtle to gross. So they say first sound comes and then ether expands from there, so sound can move. And then from there, there's touch, and then air expands from there. And then form, and then fire expands like this. Taste, water, and then smell and earth. This is how it's unfolding. This is the description of Sankhya. So taste is the cause of the manifestation of water. So you like water, but what has caused that water? Taste. So Krishna says, I am that taste. That taste that you like, in pure water, not in alcohol. Although Prabhupada did say one time that if you're drinking alcohol and you think this is Krishna, you can get purified from that. But don't practice that. That wasn't like an injunction. But Prabhupada has said like this. Because if you think of Krishna, that is ultimately purification. So Rasuha Apsu Konteya. So I'm the cause of these things that we are preoccupied with, right? We like the sense objects in this world. Like water, you like form, you really like form. Isn't it? You like form, isn't it? Some forms you can mention in public, other forms you'd not be able to talk about so publicly, a little embarrassing, a little humbling. So we like these sense objects. So what is cause of sense objects? It is Krishna and his vibhuti. I'm the cause of those things. And I'm also the essence of the sense objects, that which the essence of an object that makes us attracted to it. For example, Prabhasmi Shashi Surya Yaho. I am the light of the sun and the moon. So what is the essence of sun and moon? It is light. It is effulgence. So the essence, I am that essence of that particular object in the world that attracts you. It is me that you're actually attracted to in the form of that vibhuti. So usually the problem is that we're interested in the artwork and not interested in the artist. So this is basically a problem that comes up. And in this section, Krishna will also describe this problem. Another time, Prabhupada went to a Gita conference. You can read this in the Prabhupada Lilamrita, which is a biography of Srila Prabhupada. It's a very beautiful biography. Everyone should read that book at least one time. Very beautiful. And therein, they describe when Prabhupada went to a Gita expose somewhere in India. And they had quotes of Krishna from the Gita all throughout the expose, but no pictures of Krishna, no pictures of Arjuna, no reference that Krishna spoke this or anything. So Prabhupada asked, where are the pictures of Krishna and Arjuna? And the organizer of the event said, we are not interested in Krishna. We are only interested in what Krishna says. And Prabhupada said, you are a demon. My personal appreciation of Prabhupada is because of this aspect. He's like so plain and straightforward. Because I was just, before I came to Christian consciousness, like I suspect many of us reading like different New Age books and so on, and they're like very, like loving and like kind of soft in presentation. And then when I read Prabhupada, he was calling everyone rascal, fool, nonsense, demon. I was like, man, this old man not playing, boy, he's coming after everybody. I used to really appreciate that. But then you would hear the logic and you're like, well, it's got a point. So this organizer said, we're not interested in Krishna, only what Krishna says. So similarly, the souls in this world, they're interested in Krishna's vibhutis, but not the source of those vibhutis, Krishna himself. So this is where the complication comes in this life. Pranava sarva vedeshu. Says here, I'm the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. So Om is considered like the root sound vibration. And from that root sound vibration, all the other sounds, starting with the Vedas, and then subsequent sounds are coming. So I'm the cause. Again, the point of this section is I'm the cause of things, I'm the essence of things. Shabdike Purusham Nirshu. And I am the sound in ether, right? Remember? From sound comes ether, so sound can move, so I'm the cause. And Purusham Nirshu, the ability in men. That is the essence of men, their ability to do things. So in this verse, we're getting, I'm the cause of things, I'm the essence of things. Next verse, Punya Ganda Pritivyam Cha Tejas Chasmi Vibhavaso. So I am the fragrance of the earth, right? From smell comes earth, right? You remember? That's why I wanted to draw it, because I know it's not one of those things you just hear and like, yeah, I got it. It's from smell comes the earth. So I'm the cause of that earth also. So Tejas Chasmi Vibhava So. I am also the heat and fire. What is the essence of fire? It's heat, right? So that heat is me, that essence. Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu. I'm the life of all that lives. So the essence of life is living. So I'm the essence of that. Tapashchasmi tapasvishu. And I am the penance of ascetics. Ascetics means those who kind of renounce the world and go to the forest and perform usually very strong austerities. So their ability to do that, that's the essence of a tapasvi. There's no question of being a yogi unless you perform austerity. Nowadays in modern time, everyone has co-opted this word yogi. I always joke about this. They're spending lots of money on leotards and saying, I am a yogi. And they make poses and they post on their Instagram. And hashtag yogi lifestyle, like this. And they, well, where is the austerity? They're enjoying very nicely. So that is not yogi, that is bogey. You know the word bogey? Bogey means enjoyer. So you are not yogi, you are bogey and bogus. You shouldn't say exactly like that. It's not the best public relations message, but yogi means one who performs austerity. So tapashchasmi tapasvishu. I am the essence of a yogi, their ability to perform austerity. So I'm the essence of that. Also, when you see that, it's quite extraordinary. It's something that you appreciate. Again, a vibhuti of the Lord. When you see someone able to perform austerity, like here, even in Christian consciousness, we have austerities that we are suggested to follow, at least. Or like a Kaddishi, every 2 weeks, there's a certain fast that we're supposed to do. And many of us cannot do. Even the thought of doing it makes us weak. And just like a traditional Kaddishi means you fast from food, you fast from water, and you fast from sleep. If I make suggestion like that, immediately your mind becomes disturbed, isn't it? You become disturbed a little bit. It's not so attractive, right? Especially if it's imposed upon you. Suppose you live in temple, they say we will not bring out the food. They turn off all the water, the pure filter water. And if you try to sleep, they come and wake you up. Imagine. But if you see someone who's able to do that, it's extraordinary. Today is the appearance day. Today is the appearance day of one of the big inspirations in my own personal life. And he's kind of legendary in our movement. Ayendra Prabhu, he left this world in 2010. And one thing he was known for was his austerities. He did like severe austerity. One austerity called Chaturmasya. So for 4 months, you perform severe austerities, mostly chanting a lot and just study absorption in Krishna consciousness. But one of the austerities that they would do is when you eat only once a day, and you eat by putting the foodstuffs, khichdi, not any foodstuff, just khichdi without salt. Can you imagine? Khichdi for me is already austerity. Khichdi without salt, you put on the ground, and you, with your hands behind your back, you bend over and you eat like this. And you only do it one time. As soon as you lift up, that's the end of the meal. So he started doing that when he was living in New York. Not even when he went to India. His legendary status came when he went to Vrindavan and started 24-hour kirtan. But he started these austerities even when he was living in New York. And he would like chant 64 rounds. The last 4 months of his life, he was chanting 128 rounds every day. But other than that, he was chanting 64 rounds every day since like the 80s. And he started 24-hour kirtan. When he started 24-hour kirtan, he was leading kirtan for 8 to 12 hours a day for over a decade, for maybe 15 years before his voice started to get damaged because of heavy kirtan. 8 to 12 hours a day. Can you imagine? Like after an hour and a half, I'm like overwhelmed, and so very powerful ascetic, basically, like a devotional ascetic. And he was very much encouraged all of his followers, and many of us are very into Ayendra Prabhu. And he very much encouraged us to perform austerity. So many of us in our like infantility, we would get really attracted to it because tapasvishu, I am the essence of an ascetic, his ability to perform austerity. So it's very attractive. So you would feel so attracted to him and you want to follow what he said. And we would also try. It would be a disaster usually. We would be like on the verge of death. After one day, I can't do this. I didn't plan on mentioning that, but anyway, I'm reminded of Ayan Prabhu saying this. So that I am the essence of an ascetic, their ability to perform austerity. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam. I'm the seed of all the living entities. So the seed here means the primordial material stuff from which the world starts to unfold. That is called the seed, bijam. It refers to pradhan. It's called pradhan. Pradhan is you can call it the primordial soup from which all of matter starts to unfold. We'll have to do a little Sankhya class at some point to clarify some of these concepts to make them crystal clear. But so I'm the cause of things. That's the example there. Vidi partha sanatanam. Buddhir buddhimatamasmi. I am the intelligence of intelligent persons. So when you see someone very intelligent, that's very attractive. They do like word jugglery. And it's like, ooh. One of my friends, Hari Vilas, he's like a linguist and super intelligent. And whenever he speaks to me, it's like watching fireworks. He like comes up with like the proper, like, wow. Different concepts are coming. Very attractive. So I'm that essence of an intelligent person, his intelligence. Tejasvi namaham. And I am also the tejas, the power of powerful persons. Their essence. Verse 11, Balam balavatam chaham kamaragavivarchitam. I am the strength of the strong. So the essence of a strong person is their strength. Kamaragavivarchitam, devoid of kama and raga. In other words, someone exerts their strength because of lust. So I'm not that type of strength. Or they have some lusty desire and they do something criminal. That type of strength is not Krishna. Or someone is exerting strength because of attachment. They have some attachment to their family members. And so they lord it over others because they have power to do that. So they can benefit their families. I'm not that type of strength, that destructive form. But I am the type of strength that is devoid of kama and raga. Kama raga vivarjitam. Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. And I am also kama, I am lust. But what type of lust? Dharma aviruddha. That is not against religious principles. So earlier in chapter 3, we heard about lust. And even if you don't remember that section, we know about lust very well by personal experience. Isn't it? It is not a very nice experience. So I'm that lust that is not against religious principles. And our commentator said this specifically refers to lust aimed at one's religiously married wife for the purpose of procreation. And I also say that creative potency, when not used for making children, can also be used for other things. Prabhupada has written in the first canto that this whole material world is a manifestation of lust desire, which blew my mind when I first read that. I'm like, this whole New York City is a manifestation of lust? Dang. It blew my mind, but then I realized that that's true. When that energy is creative in nature, it creates children. That's the religious form, religious use of it. But when not used to create children, it can be used in so many other ways. They have cool names for that now. Sexual transmutation. I like that word. Where you use that energy to create something that can be offered to the world. So I'm that sort of constructive use of that energy for bringing life to the world. I'm not the irreligious form of it that destroys the world. Understand? So what is the essence of this section? I'm the cause of everything, and I'm the essence of everything that we're preoccupied with in this world. Krishna's not discussing exhaustively, otherwise this section will never come to an end. Basically, I am the vibhutis that we are attracted to and absorbed in. You understand? So his final statement in this section, Ye chaiva sattvika bhava rajasas tamasaschaye mata eveti tam vedi natwaham teshu te mai. So know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance. So ye chaiva sattvika bhava rajasas tamasaschaye. So all the different states of being in this world, some of them are in sattva, So sattva means sense control, mind control, meditation, austerity. These are qualities of goodness, a state of mind also. And the devatas or devotees, those who are in that mode of goodness. Then you have rajasas. Rajasas means lust, pride, arrogance, and those who embody that, like the demons, asuras. And tamasas. Tamasas means like lamentation, depression, procrastination, and those who embody that, rakshasas and hobgoblins and ghouls and werewolves and all the things that people are attracted to. I always say, even myself, growing up really into these sorts of movies, hobgoblins and witches and warlocks and vampires. This is a side point, but I always notice like all the vampire flicks that are coming out today, which are many in number, they always show the vampires as like the protagonist. I'm like, these fellas are literally feeding on other people's lives. And then the protagonist of the TV show or the story. So this is called as tamaguna, ignorance. Bhava. So whatever state of being you experience in this world, there's only these three states you'll experience in this world. Peacefulness, anxiousness, lamentation, depression. And those who embody that, you should know that mata eveti tamvidi. You should know that all these states come from me. Natwaham teshu te mai. So I am, well, where Prabhupada translates, I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they are on the contrary are within me. So natwaham teshu means that I am not in them. So these states of beings come from me. I am not in them means I'm not dependent on them, like the jivas. The jiva shakti in this world is dependent on all these states because he's attached to Maya, isn't it? Just like to eat, you're dependent, right? To sleep even, you're dependent on the tamagun to sleep. Suppose there was no tamagun, then no one could ever sleep. It's very frustrating. Sometimes when you have too much rajas, and you try to go to sleep at night, you can't sleep because rajagun is too active. So you lay down, you're just like this for a few hours. And then you have to take some pill to put you into tamas. So we're dependent on these modes in so many ways, isn't it? So I am not in them means I'm not dependent on them. They are in me. They're dependent on me because they come from me. So I am everything. Everything is coming from me. I'm also different from everything. I enter in everything to maintain it. So question comes, if you are everything, and then how come no one knows you? If you go outside and ask anyone, hey, do you know Krishna? No one knows. So final point here, this verse 13, very important verse. Shribir Gunamayar Bhavayar Ibi Sarvamidam Jagat Mohitam Nabijananti Mamebhya Paramavayam. That's a very important verse. So Sarvamidam Jagat, all these jivas in this world, Mohitam, they're bewildered. Na Abhijananti, therefore they don't know me. What are they bewildered by? Tribir Gunamayer Bhavar, they bewildered by all these gunas and their objects that they produce. Right? All the different states of mind that you experience, you get bewildered. Isn't it like sometimes you wake up sad and you completely get into that sadness. Throwing some sad music, isn't there? Throwing some like real depressing sad music, sulk, turn off the lights, stay in your room in full darkness, isn't it? You get bewildered. And then sometimes the sun comes out and you feel jubilant and you start, yeah, let's do something. And then everyone goes outside with very little clothes on and go to the bar and enjoy life. And then sometimes they meditate also. Without God, though. And they don't like the God point. So the jivas, they are bewildered by all these gunas. They're playing in their mind. Just like puppeteers playing with the puppets. So all the jivas are seeing the puppets and they're just messing around with those puppets. They don't see who is behind the puppet show, the Supreme Lord. So they're bewildered by these gunas. Na abhijananti, therefore they do not know me. Mame bhya param avyayam. They do not know me, who am above these modes. and avyayam, unchanging. So the modes are constantly changing and flux, and we're just into that only. The modes of material nature, the objects that the modes produce, and then the different states that come up in our mind. So they do not know me or recognize me beyond these modes, above these modes, and unchanging. So then the next section of verse, well, how do they get to know you? So Krishna will begin to describe how that becomes possible. How do you know the transcendence then? At the present moment, we're just preoccupied, lost in the force of the gunas. Okay, understand? Understand? A little bit. I will see for myself. So, question. Well, are there any questions about anything? Yes, Nicole.
So when so the vibhuti.
Yeah, vibhutis.
Is like, everything that we're seeing that we're attracted to.
Right.
What about the things that we see and we're not attracted to, or we experience and we're like repulsed by them?
Yeah.
Like, since everything is Krishna, but
Right.
then there's certain distinctions, like I am not, like you were saying, that Krishna says he's not like certain type of lust.
Right.
How do you see Krishna within those things that we don't necessarily like, or
Right. That's a very good question. Even when Krishna says punya ganda, one of the commentators, punya ganda means I am the fragrance of the earth. And the word punya also means pure. I'm the pure fragrance of the earth before it's been tampered with. And so one of the commentators write, Krishna is not like the nasty fragrances that come up, especially when human intervention takes place and some nasty smell is coming. I'm not their fragrance, I'm the pure fragrance. So how do we see the negative things? So those are also Krishna, because he says in verse 12 that whatever state you're experiencing, so that internally we experience the gunas, and we also experience the gunas externally as well. Like you've been in a tamagun place before, or a tamagun neighborhood, where when you drive through a tamagun neighborhood, you lock the doors. You try to get out as soon as possible, Or you like walking someplace and you're like, I can feel this is a tamagun place, right? All the graffiti comes up and okay, this tamagun, I need to get out of this space. So we experience the three gunas internally and we experience them externally. So Krishna is saying, I'm all of that. But I'm that because it is my effect, my external energy. So they are in me, they depend on me, but I am not in them. I don't depend on them. So again, basically the way we would how we might process that is that it is Krishna's energy because it's the effect of his energy, but Krishna in his own nature is existing apart from it, just as the reflection of the sun is existing apart from the sun. So it is not Krishna in his, what we say, in his swarup, in his own nature, but it is an effect of Krishna's energy. And so we see it, one may see it as that. So this is one of the effects of the external energy of the Lord. Like this. Now you'll see how this plays out in the Bhagavatam. You can see different prayers or different lives of devotees, how these sort of concepts play themselves out in the material, in the lives of devotees. For example, I was just reading first canto today of the Bhagavatam, and Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die. So destruction is part of the tamagun, actually, right? Rajagun means creation, Sattvagun means maintenance, and tamagun means destruction. So he was cursed to die in 7 days. That means a very dramatic experience of tamagun. But he thought that the Lord had come in the form of this curse that was meant to destroy him. So he didn't just see it as like, oh, this is negative, this is tamagun with a bad experience. He saw the Lord has come to me in this particular form for the purpose of making me detached. Because, of course, he was a great devotee. He wasn't really attached, but in humility, he's like, I'm a great king of much opulence. I'm very attached. So I'll not let go of this attachment willingly. Just like we are very attached to some attachment, we will not willingly let go. Right? Sometimes we go to the Lord and say, please make me detached, but not too detached. So some attachments are very strong. So Parikshit Maharaj said, "You have come to me in the form of this curse to completely break that attachment, so I can think of you." So you'll see how this sort of concept plays itself out in the lives of different devotees. They see Krishna in everything. At the same time, they can, through philosophy, understand this is the effect of Krishna's energy. At the same time, they see the artist behind that effect also, and they appreciate his artistry and how it's working in their life. But yeah, like this would be the exercise. Okay, some other question? Yes.
You're saying that the forms of fasting, and the last one I heard of sleep. Is that true?
The
Ekadashi, you were describing the actual original, no food, no drink, no
yes,
sleep.
yes,
And sleep?
yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah. If you want to try it out, we've tried it. It's very painful. No food, no water, no sleep. I've tried it once, and it was when I was new devotee. You get fired up. Yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then after that, I'll never do it again.
Well, Krishna Goswami did that for a few years.
Yeah.
Many of his disciples.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel that the bodies in Kali Yuga are becoming progressively weaker. The nature of Kali Yuga is Sattva-hara. Sattva-hara means to destroy anything good. That is what the word Sattva-hara is. In the first canto Bhagavatam, it says Kali Yuga has appeared and it is the destroyer of anything good. So, and also in fourth chapter of the first canto, when Vyasadeva is reflecting about the nature of Kali, he says the nature of Kali is to remove the potency from everything. So I feel like the bodies are becoming progressively devoid of Shakti. I don't know if you ever been to the Met and you see like these I went to this one like European exhibit of these warriors. And the warriors, I'm like, these guys must have been like 7 feet tall, like huge. And the armor was gigantic. I'm like, how did they even move in this? Like super heavy. Like if we were wearing it, we would just literally like and then like topple over, Like I was looking, it was huge, right? The guy's arm is like, I'm like, what's going on? And then I remember my grandfather, I mentioned this before, he was 83 years old. And I was a 7-year-old boy, so I must have been at least 100 pounds plus. And he lifted me with one arm, 83 years old, lifted me with one arm after I had a surgery when I was 7. And he lifted me with one arm and carried me over his shoulder all the way up to the 3rd or 4th floor of a apartment building. I was like, dang, I can't even do that now, like young age. So I feel the bodies, and also sometimes older persons kind of point that out sometimes about the next generations. We're becoming progressively weak and so on. So I don't know if we could follow Ekadashi so strict without risking death. Of course you can if you change your mentality. It's really a mental thing.
I just wanted to make a comment because you were talking about the glorious personality Ayendra Prabhu, who you knew, and so you know this, and I know it because I knew him, but our friends don't know. He was very strong, and he had a lot of energy. Like, you were describing how he'd do so many hours of kirtan, but he was like into it. He was like really intense.
Yeah.
And I mean, what I observed is he had that intensity in practically everything. You went to his room. Nobody had a room like that.
Yeah.
And so he was one of those people endowed with those powers.
Yeah, for sure.
To perform those austerities and to serve so much.
Yes. Yeah, some people are given special powers for the service of the Lord. They're very attractive when that happens. Thank you for that. Okay, so we'll stop here for today, and we'll take up the next section. You can look at the questionnaires if you like. But we'll end class right now, though. You should answer them. They're gonna count towards your. We're doing a Bhakti Shastra thing soon. So all these things will count towards that. I'm trying to get that started officially. Haribol Internet.
You have any more?
Yes.